Hi folks, welcome to episode 2 of Tour Talks with myself, Chris Trott. Now this episode, I am joined by someone who been thinking of many ways to introduce him, but the truth is he's the office go-to pick. Anytime the PGA Tour comes on, this guy who's a rookie on the PGA Tour is someone that I know all the boys in the office look for straight away to see how he's getting on, because he's an office favourite. And I know as play goes on, he's going to become a favourite of us all. So Harry Higgs, welcome to Tour Talks.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate the kind words. I don't know why anybody would want to watch me play golf, but I will certainly take it. That's for sure.
So tell me, you know, we're in this self-isolation, and I did some preparation before, so I know a bit about your setup. But what's your setup going on? You tell us for the purposes here.
I mean, our golf course, Trinity Forest, it's closed. I think we've got some good news that Dallas County here deemed golf essential, and that we may be able to open starting tomorrow. And it'll just be go out and walk and play, no anything open. So I really have not done a whole lot the last, I guess it's really almost 2 weeks. I don't even really know how long I've been sitting at my house. You obviously lose what day it is very quickly. I'm in a condo in Dallas, and I have 2 bedrooms, one of which my brother used to live in. He's since moved out. So I put his bed in the closet, put the box spring and the bed frame in the closet, and I turned that into my home gym. So I've got a bench, I've got some resistance bands, I've got some dumbbells on order.
Nice.
And that's kind of just really when I work up the courage to go in there and sweat for an hour, I do that, and then I sit. I'm watching the Augusta National Women's AM replay now. I've watched Masters final round highlights from the last 8 years probably. I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan, and I watched the Super Bowl that we won over New England. I've seen that twice actually now. So I mean, I'm catching up on. It's not really catching up. I'm watching sports I've already watched. Trying to stay in some shape. Trying to get at least an hour's worth of sweat a day, and then hopefully here in the next few days go out and start blowing the rust off the golf clubs.
So I heard you watched that Philadelphia Eagles game on an airplane, right? Down into one of your Latino America events.
Yep. Oh gosh. No, that was the World Series. That was 2000. I think it was 15. Yeah, 2015. Now I'm a fair weather baseball fan. I really only care about Philadelphia Eagle football. I've been a Philadelphia Phillies fan when they were doing well, and then obviously living for the majority of my life growing up in Kansas City, I kind of was a fair weather Royals fan, obviously, when they made their run. And in 2015, they were playing the World Series against the Mets, and I think I got to watch one game, but then had to fly down to Uruguay, which is not close. Fly down, play a golf tournament, fly back, and then we finished on Sunday, and we're flying back overnight. We got on the plane, and they were still playing. I think they won in 5. I think it was game 5. And I walked on with a Royals hat, and one of the flight attendants was a Mets fan, and so he was giving me some grief. And I just straight up asked him, I said, dude, I know that there's stuff that you guys as flight attendants and crew, you are more in tune than we are. I know you shut all this stuff off for us. Is there a way I can watch this? And he said, no, we can't watch. We can't, he said, I will have access to my phone and Wi-Fi and whatnot, so I can keep you updated. But I got a 12-hour flight from Uruguay to Miami. And I had it down. That was towards the end of the year. I've done a few 12-hour flights. I had my routine down. It's a drink as soon as you can get one, preferably 1 or 2 in the airport waiting to get on the plane. It's a drink as soon as you can get one on the plane. And then you have to watch a movie that's anywhere from an hour 15 to an hour 45. You can't watch a 2-hour movie. During said movie, you just have to keep drinking and drinking and drinking. And then after the movie, I would just pass out. So I stuck to my routine. I didn't want to stay up to try to get updates. And sure enough, I woke up and they had to wake me up. It was a long week in Uruguay. They had to wake me up as we landed. And sure enough, I woke up and I had a note taped to my chest. And he had said, I couldn't find it. I looked for it recently, but he said, congratulations, your Kansas City Royals beat my New York Mets in the World Series. That's how I found out. But I mean, I will admit for all of my friends that I'm sure will listen to this and they give me all kinds of grief that, you flip between the Phillies and the Royals. I really don't care about baseball. I was a Fairweather Royals fan for sure.
So it's funny that you say you've got it dialed, because I remember getting on a flight with you first time, or second time I met you. First time was very briefly in Napa.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think that's Harry Higgs. I'm not sure. And you sat across the aisle. Straight away, you got the speakers on. You got everything everywhere. And I'm like, he looks dialed. This guy knows what he's doing traveling. He's either a tour player or he's making money as a businessman.
Yeah.
And he's like scooting around. And you're sweet talking the girl serving you, and she's getting you something dialed on. Yeah. And then you're like, I can't get the game. I was like, this man knows what he's doing. And obviously,
you gotta be very, very nice, very kind to the flight attendants and crew. Just in case something happens and you need something. But no, it doesn't really fit with my personality, but I definitely, in an airport, I try to put my headphones on as fast as possible. Not that I ever get recognized, because I am not at that stature yet, but I love to put a hat on and put some headphones on and just nice and quietly go about my business, get on the plane, get off, lug all those big old bags you guys make us carry around.
We got to figure that out. So tell me though, I mean, you seem to already, listening to this, adapt extremely well to the situation that you're put in. And, we'll get through it here, but for people who haven't followed your career, you're Latino America, you've played Corn Ferry, you've had success in both places, Load and Monday qualifiers. How do you change so quickly to your circumstances to just get the best out of your game? And then let's flip that it's a two-part question. See what I've done there. But let's flip that to where we're at right now. How are you, Harry Higgs, mentally dealing with, you set up the gym, but you are quite personable. I mean, you joke that you're not, but you are. And it's got to be hard, right, for you?
Sure. Oh, gosh, yeah. I'm personable when it matters. I do love time at home sitting on the couch by myself. I do not get a ton of it, nor do I seek a ton of it. Like, I like to have people, friends around, and obviously usually revolves around sports, a big game or whatnot, and I'm at home, we get friends around, we have dinner, we sit and watch, we have a few drinks. So that part I'm missing for sure. And I would say the golf side of everything in my journey, it was just kind of always, I felt like the first probably 2 or 3 years, I would say, it would have been 3 years. So the first year in Latin America, and then I was a conditional member on the Corn Ferry Tour. And then my third full year, I had no status anywhere. So you're playing a lot of mini tour events, Monday qualifiers and whatnot. I always knew that I was good enough. Like, I knew it was in there. I hadn't really shown it to myself that I was, like, I hadn't had the results to obviously get off the level that I was on. But I always knew I was capable of it. So whether or not I continued to have that belief and continue, I felt like the first 3 years were like more of a discovery in a way. Figure out what the formula is that makes you perform your best the most often. So I kind of felt like I had a good grasp on that the start of 2018. And the start of 2018, I go to Latin America Q School in January. And I remember saying earlier in the fall, after another flame out at Q School, which I don't really care for Q School, so I never really put much weight into that. I remember saying in the fall that I'm good, and I think it might be the best thing for me that I didn't get any Corn Ferry Tour status through Q School, because I do believe I need to prove it to myself somewhere else, being Latin America. And I remember saying that I'm good enough to win the money list on the PGA Tour Latin America. That was the goal, or Canada, or wherever it might have been. But I knew I needed to prove it to myself at that level. To start, I needed to get status on one of those tours. If you don't get to play the tournaments, you can't win the money list on the tour. So no, I did. I mean, I finished second at Q School in January, and then was really off and running. I mean, that just kind of was the start of the proof. I finished third in the second event we played, and that was kind of nice. I think I had another 3, 4, 5 top 5 finishes, won one of them, and sure enough, at the end, I barely came out on top. And then it was really just like, okay, well, I've got the formula. Nothing needs to change. You get out on the Korn Ferry Tour, and the first couple of weeks, quite honestly, I played like a dog, but I finished in the top 25 3 or 4 times to start the year. And I'm thinking, man, I felt like if I truly, truly gave myself a grade for those events, I don't know that I even would get a B or B minus. Those felt like C game kind of things. Not that, just execution stuff. Not that I wasn't as sharp mentally or whatnot. So that was kind of refreshing. Fortunately, the results were average or better than average, but my game was less than average. So I kind of thought, well, I mean, if I continue to do this and get my, get a better handle on the execution side, I'm going to start beating darn near everybody here, which was, again, I had no proof of it, but I knew that if I could stick to my formula, which worked the year before, and I started executing just a few golf shots well, it was gonna work out. I had another great year, and then it was kind of literally just run it back, the exact same thing on the PGA Tour to start. And obviously, I was very fortunate to have some good results early, which make it easier to continue and not second guess your formula. But man, I really do feel like the first couple of years getting knocked down a little bit here and there. And you say getting knocked down, but I remember playing like 4 or 5 mini tour events in a row, and I shot under par every single round in all 4 of the events in a row. And I think the best finish I had was like 12th. I mean, you are doing well. It's just you're getting lapped. Like,
yeah.
And I just kept thinking, man, if I can give myself some full seasons anywhere, wherever it may be, if you can give me 15 plus events, I will be good enough, consistently enough in those events to start seeing some success.
And I mean, there's a great podcast that I've listened to with you, and I was engaged from start to finish. And if you're interested in being a player, or if you're an AJGA kid, you really touch on how to manage your game. And I don't want to make you repeat that again for the sake of saving your time, but when we're in a time like this, is there anything that you can give to advice to people maybe watching it, players that are now mini tour or are juniors and are sat there and like, I want to do what Harry Higgs has done. I want to achieve that. I want to have the picture of Rio behind me there, just to bring back the Latino America stuff.
Yeah, I didn't even notice I was there. Yeah, I got that on literally at the base of the Christ the Redeemer. We went up there in 2015. We went up there. I'm not a big heights fan. It was the scariest thing of all time, but it is pretty cool up there.
But it's a great tip of the cap to the journey. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. I would say to anybody on a mini tour or anybody like me, those first 3 years, that you are literally you're losing money and you're just getting beaten down. If you don't shoot 65 for 4 consecutive days, you don't win. But know that, shooting under par and even contending a few times a year, that is making you better. You have to, and it wasn't that I stopped thinking about the results, because we all are, everything's results based. You want to do well, you want to make money, you want to level off and get off that tour and get to the next level. But I really felt like I always had a good grasp on, okay, I just shot 4 under par rounds. Maybe I finished 15th. I was 6, 7 off the lead, 4 or 5 out of a top 5 finish. And then if you really think about it, man, there was a couple, and this was always the accumulation of my formula. Man, there were a couple shots I hit without being decisive enough. Maybe there was a chance I took and I didn't execute it. So that's, it's okay. We went for it. And, next time think through how I could execute it better. But there are just so many guys, as everyone well knows, that are so good and more than capable of playing the PGA Tour. You have to, for most of us, you have to embrace the process and the the crap. I mean, when you shoot 4 under par rounds in a row and you finish 20th, you got to find a way to make that a positive, because I mean, you do that 3 or 4 times in a row and you can really get down on yourself, which I certainly did. Fortunately, kind of a personality trait that I think has really helped me is just like the eternal optimist.
Yeah.
Not that it's all the time, but just always thinking that, hey, if I clean this up here and there, next thing you know, I'm winning. And it wasn't a knock on anybody else, but anytime I was beaten, I always looked at the names, or maybe they were guys that I knew, and I just felt like, they won, they beat me, so they were better than me this week. But man, I'm better than overall. If we were to play a 10, 15 event schedule and they were in the same events, I'm going to beat them by the end of the year. And that was kind of my thing. Obviously getting the full schedule starting 2018 in Latin America, that was huge. And then I've been giving myself, more full schedules. If you can give me, I really do think the way that I play golf, if you can give me 20, 25 events, I will do just fine. Now my formula is not changing, but I'm trying to find ways to get to the top level, to play we always joke that there's 2 tours. There's a PGA Tour, and then there's the Platinum Tour, where, the top 50 in the world play and they just roll out and feels like they win or contend every week. Now I'm trying to piece together a formula to get there. And it won't be too dissimilar to the one that I'm using currently. Everybody is capable of it. I believe that I am capable of it. So I need a little bit more of the evidence gathering. I've had some nice weeks, a few chances to win, and those are nice to have, because now you can think on, okay, how could that have been differently? Would I even have done anything differently? There's a couple times where at Torrey Pines, I had a great week, and I remember getting on that back 9, and Leishman was kind of already running away with it. So had he not run away with it, I think I would have turned it tied for the lead. And I was in between clubs on every shot on that back 9. So you just kind of chalk that up to, oh, well, and I stuck to it. Like I hit the shot that I felt was appropriate. I think I shot even on the back 9, maybe a birdie and a bogey. And that was really it. Like, there's not much I can dwell on there. It does sometimes fall to whether you get lucky enough or your ball ends up in a spot where you have a good yardage for a certain club and you see the shot. Like, there are times when I see them and I'm full go, and there's times when I'm not, and that's that. We hit it to where I know I can score from, and I just keep going, keep plugging.
And yeah, I mean, it's pure patience, though, having felt that. I mean, if I look now and sort of taking a breather, let's look at the current picture. Official world golf rank 135, FedEx Cup 42nd, strokes gained off the tee, you're factoring there 22nd. Driving distance these days, to give the viewers an idea, you're at 300 yards. That chalks in at 81st. Yeah. I mean, I remember when 300 yards, you were like John Daly. That was
sure,
you.
Yeah.
And then you've had the top 10 at the Farmers that you're talking about, 9th, and you're saying that there was no yardage you could hit on the back 9, so it was a disciplined, patient finish.
Yeah.
Second in Bermuda. I don't want to discredit the start of the season when you come and play the fall, but Torrey Pines 9th versus Bermuda 2nd. I mean, Tiger Woods is playing Torrey Pines.
Sure.
It's the real deal, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I joke too. I had played, I think Torrey was my 9th or 10th event. So I played 8 or 9 events, and Tiger hadn't played in any one of them, and then Tiger shows up. And I joked with friends that, like, I really feel like I haven't played a PGA Tour event because Tiger hasn't shown up yet.
I'm glad. I wasn't sure to say that or not, but like, you've not come to play. You're 135th in the order in the world, and you're top 10 in when the big cat's turning up. I mean, you've got.
Yeah. I mean, and Tiger finished tied 9th as well, so we played one event together, and he's yet to beat me. But no, I mean, at Torrey, that was the 3rd of 5 weeks in a row, and I mean, it was just miserable and grumpy. And again, another, sometimes on the West Coast, I don't think there were any in the fall, but there's a few events on the West Coast where we're playing more than one course, on Thursday, Friday, and in Palm Springs you play 3. That is miserable as a rookie, because then I have to fly there, get there, play at least 2 full 18-hole practice rounds. I have no time to practice and prepare. And
Tell me,
Tori was
as a rookie, and sorry to interrupt you, but as
no,
a
yeah.
rookie, are you having to play every start you can get, or the fact now that you're currently 42nd on the FedEx,
Yeah.
is that giving you the opportunity to pick and choose a little more, or how's it work?
I have played everyone that I've been eligible for, other than there was one other than Puerto Rico.
So you must be like semi-welcoming this break, because you know, literally 2 years ago you were way away from this, and that's where I'm trying to get to your headspace.
Well, yeah. When this first started, it was nice. I'm not thrilled about how long the break is.
Yeah.
I obviously understand why, and I would rather myself stay healthy and my friends and family and anybody else stay healthy. So I will stay away and do my part as much as I need to. But it was a year and a half, 2-year sprint to get here, where I had to play. Now, I had to play. I mean, you play every event in Latin America plus all that travel. I played, and that, which was not a lot on the Korn Ferry Tour. I think I played 21 of 25. So took 4 weeks off. Fortunately, I was having good results while I was playing to allow you to take time off. But there was a stretch there in 2019 where I think we had 18 events in a row, and there were guys that just because of where you are on the points list or whatnot, you literally have to play 18 in a row to finish the year, because you can't. I was fortunate that in that I was able to take some time off, but it still feels like it's a sprint. And then same thing, the PGA Tour, when you start, I mean, the Korn Ferry Tour finished, and 2 weeks later we're at Greenbrier and you're going 5 in a row to start. And for us as rookies in the category we were, it was vital that you play as much as you can, as early as you can, and get off to a good start, so that when Tori comes around, you're in the field. Or when anything out west or in Florida comes around, if you've done well, you're in the field. Like, there are friends of mine that didn't get off to as good a start. They are rookies as well. And I obviously now haven't seen them in a while because of where we are as a society. But while golf was going on, I hadn't seen friends of mine for 5 weeks in a row because they just hadn't gotten into the fields of the events, where I was fortunate to do so with the results I had. So yes, to start this break was extremely welcoming. It felt like it was a 2-year run to here with no stop, tons of travel. And then kind of in a way, I feel like semi-established. I mean, you get more established when you've done this 4, 5, 6 years in a row, obviously, and I plan on doing so. But it was nice to kind of solidify my position in a way and then have a break. I wish the break was obviously shorter, but I will make do with what we've got.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to hear how you deal with it. But one of the questions that sprung to my mind, and answer this, you will answer it very carefully, sure, but I just want to go in saying this is more because I have no clue. What happens now? We don't know when we're golfing again. Maybe you, and that's your right as a player, know more than we do potentially. But let's say we have no clue when we get back. How are they going to work this for you coming back and order a merit position? Because you quite rightly say there are rookies, and then there's tiers within tiers. You call it the Platinum Tour, you call it the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
Now you're in a situation where you're like more than halfway into you've already said it, feeling settled, knowing you belong.
Sure.
Probably wouldn't be right now if we went back to saying, well, 2020 is a wash and we're out. How's that going to figure? Any clue or any concerns as a player?
I have a clue. I don't know that I'm able to say it.
No, but it's just like we love you at TaylorMade.
Sure.
We love the fact, and I have to get it in here because I want to join you in it. We love the Harry Higgs. I love that.
Yeah, I've got the quarter zip, just the quarter zip on too. It's not as deep as some of the shirts.
How do you decide if you go one button undone or if you go two?
Grayson has been great to me. They have a 4-button, 1, 2, 3, 4 button shirt, and if it's a 4-button, there's just one button,
Okay.
the bottom button. They sent, and this was the start of the arrangement, and they sent a few shirts. A couple of them have 2 buttons and a couple have 3. There's a good chance that if I wear the 3 button, none of them are buttoned.
I'm on a 3 here.
I will not wear the 2 button one.
Really?
And it is, I have said it a few times, and I will probably lean into it a little bit more because it is something that makes me different than others. It is not for vanity. It is because I'm a big guy with big round shoulders. And the more those buttons come up, that 2-button shirt, you'll watch me and I'll be pulling on it. It just feels like it's suffocating.
Get caught back here somewhere.
And I'll be walking around in the fairway. If you see me doing all this, it's because not that I don't like the shirt, but it's that the shirt just doesn't quite fit. So I told them I need to be sent the 4-button shirts from now on, and I'll just button the 1, and that fits perfectly. Good to go.
Never mind the platinum and the PGA. You need to get them to make the 4-button and just call it the Higgs model. That's what we need here.
I've got a good idea for Scottsdale next year for 16. I've got a pretty good idea. We'll see.
And that's a good turning point. That's a good flip. You produced the Brew Weekly down there. How good was that? That didn't go unmissed.
See, then it's so funny because that was Saturday, and I just missed a birdie putt on 16. And I mean, one of the hardest shots out there is actually the tee shot on 17, because you walk away on 16 and your legs are still shaking. I mean, you're so amped. Even if you made just a ho-hum par, you're so amped that you have to walk under the tunnel and then go. Fortunately, we had a wait on the tee on 17 because I was still so amped. I mean, I just missed the putt, so I'd hit it and I was kind of running around, already thinking about celebrating. Tap in for par, go to 17 tee, and we wait for a bit. I hit last. I hit a great drive, but a couple hops onto the green. And normally I just I like to get, like, one of my kind of bugaboos is I like to hit my shot and get the club out of my hand as quickly as possible, good or bad, especially if it's bad. I'm not going to break the club, but I don't want to, I'll just start fiddling with it or kind of slamming it, hopefully gently. I like to get it out of my hands as quick as possible, good or bad. Well, as I turned to do it, my caddy, Mike, was going back to grab water because we were still adrenaline heightened. I probably should get that guy water. So I just kind of took off and started running. And right there off the tee is 10 green, and there's stands off the tee. Like, these people that are in these stands, there's a ton of people there. A few people on the other side waiting in line to get to 16. Ton of people there. And they start chanting and cheering my name. So I'm just, this is just odd. And the people just start screaming and yelling and cheering. And I don't know, for some reason, it was not planned at all. But, I mean, I had my driver, which normally I would not have. And I just kind of I need to do something. And I rode the driver. And, I mean, I did it so quickly. They got it on camera, thank goodness. But then up at the green, I had completely forgotten that I had just done that, which was probably why I made the putt, because I was able to then focus on the putt and stop thinking about the buffoonery I just did, 200 yards back. So, no, I had so much fun that week. And to start, that was after Torrey. So Torrey was a whole lot. I mean, I was in contention for a good part of the week, and there's a ton of people there. I was pretty tired. And I remember getting to Scottsdale and thinking, man, this is too much. I don't even know if I'm ever going to come back to this event. There's just a lot going on. It's hard to focus on your golf. And that was kind of my thought through Monday and Tuesday. And then I got some time to rest on Wednesday, practice a little bit, teed off Thursday. And, man, by the time I got to 16 for the first time on Thursday, which was my 7th hole in the afternoon, I was like, man, this is sweet. I think this is built for me. I probably should do it like I did this year and kind of be annoyed with it almost, the fact that there's so many people around to start, and kind of stay away And then once Thursday comes, just full lean in and go nuts and have some fun.
You can go back to the headphones until Thursday. Just walk around with the hoodie and the headphones and make a full Higgs shirt on Thursday.
I don't know that I couldn't imagine the amount of grief that I would get. I don't know if I'm strong enough to do that and take the punishment from the rest of the guys.
So when we return back to normal here, the events now that we've missed, because we missed a few and you may take them off in the future or not, but is there any that you sat there going, man, I can't wait to play that, and I'm going to wait another year potentially, but I'm looking forward to it?
That team event in New Orleans, that I was looking forward to that. I was going to play with Michael Gellerman, a good friend of mine. We grew up playing junior golf together, so that was going to be fun.
It's a great town as well.
Yeah, I've played some mini tour events in and around outside New Orleans. I've never really, and that was going to be our plan. We were going to have me and him and maybe a couple other guys, and we were just going to rent a big house and just be done with it. Near the city, go do all the fun, probably drive out hungover to the golf course, play, and then go back and do more fun. I was really looking forward to that. And then selfishly for me, the Nelson here in Dallas, I haven't, being a Dallas resident now, I haven't played in a Nelson. And then this was potentially the last year that Trinity Forest, my home club, was going to host the event. So that was going to be really, really cool. Again, I'm doing my part. I'm bummed that I didn't get to play my hometown event at my home golf course, but there's bigger things in the world going on obviously now.
Yeah.
But we'll see. And the tour is going to do their best in terms of trying to get as many events that were canceled rescheduled. They sent out a rough estimate of the schedule today. It looks like there's 3 or 4 events that will kind of be filled in, basically. I do not know. Maybe hopefully there's one or two here in Texas. Maybe we can do a little Colonial and then head over to Trinity Forest for the Nelson.
Yeah, it's
we'll see. I don't
beast. I get it. And then when you look at where you're at now, and it's the last golf question before I have some equipment questions, obviously, because it wouldn't be chatting with me if we couldn't get to that point. But you played with Adam Scott in Napa, I think, on the final round.
Yep.
Is there anyone else, or I imagine, well, I'm hoping as a golf fan that there's a few things that you learned from that or picked up for being around him. But is there anyone or any who's been so influential, be it from, I don't know, a family member, a friend at the golf course, to what we all obviously want to hear, a big name player who's come up and said, hey, dude, this is cool, and I'd maybe do this, do that? Or have you asked anyone a question that you wanted to ask?
Ooh. Adam Scott
I'm glad I stumped you, because you see, you have a lot of chat for everything, so I wanted to get you before we're out.
I don't get enough. No, I don't think I've done it. I don't think I've done enough personally to ask others that are in positions that I'd like to be in. Adam Scott was cool, really cool, and he swings the club so well that you find yourself swinging it well. Like, I really wasn't doing that well in Napa in terms of how I was striking the ball, and he just makes his beautiful swing every time. You're like, that can't be that hard, and you walk in there and do it. But it was, and to no fault of his own, we talked the entire day pretty much. But Adam never once asked me a question. So all of the talking was, and then, I just, ask him where he's from, this, and this. And, he said he lives in Switzerland and the Bahamas, right? Like, he splits time between there. He didn't ask me, but I'm thinking, man, this is different. I live in a condo that my dad owns in Dallas. Like, we are on 2 completely different spectrums right here.
Platinum tour for sure.
Yeah, and he's well earned that too.
Yeah.
I hope that, I think he's probably darn near played 20 years or so.
Yeah.
I hope that when I did joke with him, I said there were a few, I doubled the first hole, almost hit it out of bounds. I didn't even know there was out of bounds.
Just nerves with who you're with?
Yeah, I mean, it was nerves for sure. Being Sunday and kind of, we weren't really near the lead, but a good day today, gets you a nice finish. Just met Adam Scott. so the nerves knocked me off of what I was meaning to do. You know, I kind of made a swing and just hit it to hit it instead of hit it to what, you know, see a shot, execute the shot. Almost hit out of bounds, chip out, hit in the bunker, bladed over the green, chip on, and then I birdied the second hole. And then we're walking up 3. Well, after the first hole, it was kind of probably, I wish I would have made a 4 or 5, but it was probably the best thing for me. It was like, okay, I could care less who I'm with. I don't like playing bad golf, so now I'm going to do what I need to do to play good golf.
Yeah.
So did that and birdied 2, which was nice to obviously sit on my nerves. But we were walking up 3 fairway. We just driven it right near each other, and there was probably 300-400 people watching us, maybe if that. But and Napa's you know, more of a retirement area, some older folks, and I go, Adam, man, I was expecting a lot more good-looking women around. You know, I was kind of the thought that all the good-looking women were following you, and he goes, man, not anymore. I'm getting a little older, and you know, they're all following the Ricky Fowlers and Justin Thomas and those guys. So I thought that was pretty funny. He definitely would joke and laugh. We had a good time, but yeah, it was, you know, ask him where he's from, where he lives, and he never asked me. You know, so,
you had it all dialed out, ready to go. So tell me, on the equipment side, I remember when I met you for the first time in Napa, you had a Spider center shaft, and this thing was, I imagine I know you got it there. Just show it. It's pretty battered, right?
This is pretty good for me.
So I say to you, hey, listen, Harry, look at that.
The bottom end of it. So that usually happens on cart paths after I've missed a putt, and it's not a big whack. It's just kind of a
letting it know you're there.
Bit. And I'm not sure. I guess it would be this way, maybe.
Yeah.
You can see there's the paint kind of chips right on where the line is, right where the hosel comes in. And yeah, just a couple other things down at the weight. It's kind of dirty.
But I remember saying to you, I said, hey, you know, do you want a freshie? And you were like, nah. I like this thing to be part of me and to know what's going on.
Man, I had the first Spider, I had the white one. I used it for probably 3 or 4 years, and the paint was chipping on the head, and it was like half silver, half white, and everybody would make fun of me. And like, I notice it when people mention it. So when you say that, I'm like, oh yeah, no, I'm good. I don't. But when I'm over a putt, I don't see that, you know, like, and I wonder if I use it in a way that, you know, it's another thing to like refocus me in an odd way that, my putter doesn't look like garbage, but my putter's kind of beaten up. But hey, that doesn't really matter. We're putting now. We're trying to make a putt.
And does it make it? You must have clubs that you feel under the pump you can trust them and rely on them. And sometimes when a club is worn in, it's been through the Corn Ferry victories. It's been through the PGA Tour graduation and progression. So sometimes I always find that when players get a new club, they have no history with it. So therefore, it's like, how do you get the history with a club that you're like, that's now part of my setup, that's me?
Yeah, that's probably one of the main things is that these irons I used all year last year and was planning on using them all year this year.
Which model are they?
The 790?
Yeah.
No, 760.
Okay.
760. Sorry. The equipment stuff.
It's all good. This is probably the first time you've looked at them, right? I mean,
really, I just hit them. Give it to me and I'll hit it. The one thing I do not do is change wedges enough. I need to probably be better at that. But then again, like, I'm still in the way. I don't really like asking people for things.
And that's obviously what I'm going to ask you. We don't see enough of you on the trailer, for sure. We would love to see more of you. And is that, do you think, a way of the style that you've come onto the tour, that you've not really got your head around what this equipment world is yet?
I think it's less that. Like, I think I would have a good idea. And I come in there when I know something is off, or maybe I don't know, but I think, and I have a good inclination that something's off, and I'd like to, and I've got a solution for it. And that's kind of backwards in a way, because you guys are so good at what you do that I could come in there and you could solve it immediately, but I like to be the one that comes to, or at least comes to you guys with a solution to what might be off.
Because I remember you came on, again, sorry to interrupt, but you came on just around Torrey or just after Torrey. And I know our tech, Wade, saw you, and you come on and you're like, oh, I want a regrip or something. And you're like, it was as simple as, I'm not sure what grip it is, or I'm not sure how many tapes it is. But just do something and then pass it me. And you took it and you literally went, yeah, that's good enough.
Yeah.
Like, what? And you walk out and Wade straight away goes, I like that guy. He can come in as much as he wants.
It's not. For me, it always has been like feel in the hands and the way that the club looks as I'm about to strike a shot. And that's something that is so personal to me. It's, it'd be next to impossible for you guys. And I'm so poor at explaining it anyway that it really, it's not a waste of our time, but it would waste our time for me to go in there and try to like dive into what I think and feel. And then you guys try to make a change that might or might not help me execute shots better. Like, man, I know that the clubs, the one thing I never really like my 5-iron, and I always feel like my 5-iron is the one that, and I don't even get these things like looked at lies and lofts. I probably should do that.
That's
more.
Job number one. We're doing that when we get back.
Yeah. And then like sometimes my wedges, again, lies and lofts, sometimes they just feel different. Like when I grip the club, I'm like, man, the toe's off the ground more than it used to be, or the toe's into the ground more. But I kind of just keep going. Obviously, I could be a little better because the equipment, especially the stuff TaylorMade makes, which is, everything I have is TaylorMade. The equipment can be such an advantage.
Do you know?
But, I mean, I've gone that year in Latin America. I won the money list. I had the PSI irons that were, I think that was that at the end of that year, that was 3 years with those. I broke the 7-iron. I don't remember, but I think it was out of anger. I broke the 7-iron, and I was using a Ping 7-iron because it was the only 7-iron I could find. So I had, for the last half of that year, I had a Ping 7-iron and 3-year-old irons in my golf bag. And it was just like, it was like a badge of honor for me in a way. Like, I'm just going to beat all these guys with this stuff anyway. That driver that I used, I used the driver for the M5 for 2-3 years, however long it was out. Like the moment I got it to the moment the nude one came out, and the sim driver.
These are mini tour problems, and I want to say to you now, like we had Doc on last week, we got you on this week. The job number one for me and the boys when we get back is now we can have a chance to have a breather.
Sure.
All the sim has come out and all the new gears come out. We're getting you on and we're getting you acclimatized with what's going on there, just so you can figure it out. We're not going to have you fly in an extra day early to do this. We'll do it around.
That will never happen. I show up when I want to show up.
So
I do what I want to do. And then some of it is like I would just rather take care of my business and leave.
I get it.
I mean, you guys are all such great friends too. Like, what I would probably and should go do is just hang out. Like, don't even bring my golf clubs.
You're welcome. We got big coffee. We got everything.
I've seen the trailer. It's got everything. Trust me. I've seen it, I think, twice.
And one of them was on YouTube. So tell me then, with you, what makes the decision to join TaylorMade? Was it you obviously been playing that stuff, but what made that decision so easy for you?
It was the TaylorMade while at school here at SMU. Our coach at the time, Josh Gregory, was on staff, so it was just kind of the easiest stuff to get, if you will. I was always using the driver, so he took over my sophomore year, and then from like mid-year sophomore year, so that was 2011 until now, I have played a couple times. I'll switch out a putter, but I have played 14 clubs, more than the majority, 14 clubs and the golf ball for, I guess, about 9 years now. And it just there. So there really wasn't a decision for me in a way. Like, I just keep getting whatever the new ball is. I have been fortunate enough, and now I guess I definitely will get the new ball whenever it comes out. But I just kind of get it and hit it, and usually in like 3 months I notice, this ball's a little better. Like, it's just as good, if not better. You know what? I can't remember his name, but the ball guy came up to me in Phoenix and was like, "Man, we'd really like to know, we're going to go through another ball. What would you like to see improved?" I said, "I don't know. Every time I get one, I find, and
That's
usually
great.
it takes me a little while, but I find something that is better in this ball than the other."
He doesn't come out very often, so that'll be that'll be
So
music.
just keep doing what you're doing, right? I mean, for me, you've done nothing wrong in 9 years. I felt like the ball's gotten better every year.
I think that's amazing, and it's such great credit to our college guys, and it's such great credit to looking after you. And I know Jason Housey and Scott Bulwer did a fantastic job with you through the ranks, and they kept saying, "We got this guy Harry Higgs. He's going like this.
Yeah.
He's going to be with you boys."
He might get there, yeah. And then it started to take off. No, I mean, I was the relationship, and when you're me and you're finishing school, both relationships professionally and personally now you realize you need to cultivate those, and you need to, in a way, those people, if you do the right things, will continue to help me. And that was both, that was the thing with TaylorMade. I didn't do much, but I certainly made sure that, I was always using the stuff, and I would always ask nicely. I wouldn't ask often because I was always so afraid of getting told no. And there were times where it did have to be no. I went to the Kingdom one year, and we joked about this when I went to the Kingdom at the week of Torrey too. We joked about this, that I went there, and I was under the impression this was right before Latin America, so I still had those PSI irons, and I think I was going to get into I want to say the 760s were new, something was new. And I went there under the impression that I was going to get fit for a full bag, and they said we can do woods, driver, 3-wood, hybrid, but we'd have to charge you for irons. And I mean, this was it's funny to joke. This was 2 years ago. I had no money at all. I could barely afford the flight out there. So I was like, okay, well, I'll take the woods, and I'll be taking these irons to Guatemala with me here in a couple of weeks, and that's that. So no, I mean, I was always deathly afraid of being told no, and it was funny because I never really ever got a no. And I know that, I mean, the TaylorMade has been so good to me, and it's funny that I think my contract is up this year. I think it was 2 years, like last year and this year. And I probably shouldn't say this, but it's so funny that, like, I'm gonna sign with TaylorMade. So if they need to cut my pay, which I hope they don't, I hope they increase it. And it's my job to make sure they increase it, but I'm not going to use something else. So
well,
I get it. If you need to kind of cut some budgetary items, my agent he's going to love this when he hears that. But it's going to be the easiest renegotiation for TaylorMade of all time.
I almost feel like we should stop now for your sake. Yeah. But listen, you're such good value and so entertaining, and I am enjoying every moment. I'm getting to know you more, even though I didn't expect it to be on a video conference call. Sure. We've done very well in terms of the IT side of this, I think.
I think we did. I don't know that I messed anything up, and that's huge. That is. I just
hope it's all recorded. But listen, mate, you enjoy that workout today in the spare room, and I am looking forward to seeing you out there, and I want to see you on that trailer, and we're going to get you fully dialed in. You are welcome anytime. You keep this up, and there'll never be a no again from us.
The first time I walked on, actually, I don't need it. The first time I walked on the trailer, I saw, and I do not deserve a locker, but I saw there's like 12, 15 guys with lockers in the trailer. And I don't know why you'd need a locker in the trailer, but I was not one of them. And again, I shouldn't have been one of them. This was very early on, and I still don't deserve one. Don't ever give me a locker, because I use that as motivation. I was like, man, okay, I'm taking a mental picture of everybody that's in here, and now I need to beat every single one of these guys. But no, I'll come on the trailer just to hang out. We need to get probably lies and lofts checked, and my 5-iron sometimes feels weird. So other than that, we'll be fine.
Should be easy. A selection of 5 irons and then lock and live. We got you covered. Well, thanks for joining, buddy. And it's great insight, like I say. Stay safe, and hopefully we'll see you again soon here and get back out doing our thing.
Yeah, I guess about 10 weeks from now we should be golfing again. So
fantastic.
Hopefully it feels sooner rather than later. But no, thanks for having me on. Take care of yourself.
Awesome. Stay safe, buddy.
Yeah, you too.
Cheers, Harry.